Napoleon and Henry V are finally in game, guys. That means, yes, we can talk about their skills and their stars and how good this formation is without having our tinfoil hats on. And on top of that, yes, we can talk about the brand new city skins, because I do have my little bit of opinion on them. I know a lot of people are quite buzzing about them, and I am kind of in sort of an agreement, but we'll get there when we hit that hurdle. So smash like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel that little bit further, especially if you're going to be spending in this anniversary event, check out my Eneba creator link down in the description down below. Anytime you spend on there, you are open to cashback offers, and the prices are generally cheaper than Midas Buy, and it will also trigger your Midas Buy too, currently with the buy one get one free deals from all of the community that we know who have given us feedback in the past. So check it out. It might save you a little bit of prick and penny, and on top of it, supporting me, your favorite creator. So with that, let's dive into the fun stuff, the actual things we care about. Napoleon, the main man of the hour. And I'm going to be telling you, I am investing into this lineup, and I'm going to give you a kind of tip and trick about it, because before we dive into Napoleon, Henry is exactly like I suggested in that video. So if you've checked my previous video when we were theory crafting about these two heroes a couple of days ago, yes, Henry is exactly the same as I imagined. However, he's a 30% activation chance, but you can increase this, which we will discuss in a moment. But his more skills are the ones that we were shown, which is configuration, ultimate strategy, master's gift, and the war tactic. So you can see everything was correct in that video on what skills that we could be running with this hero, which does make it quite easy and understandable of what we can do with both these guys and Napoleon, because that is the main thing. What are these two guys doing for Napoleon? Well, straight away they are generating the rage for his commander skill, and his commander skill is absolutely insane. The thing is, it's a little bit weird because when you first read it, it's not going to make too much sense until you read the signature skill. So be fully aware of that. We deal strategy damage to one enemy troop in a fan-shaped area in front. And this is a nice 149% at level 1, remember, with strategy bonus. When activated in the triumphant return state, we additionally target 2 enemy troops, and we deal 1 additional instance of strategy damage to the primary target. After that, you consume all marks to increase the damage to the next signature active skill by a nice little amount, and you exit the triumphant return state. And I know it sounds a bit weird at first, but it'll make so much sense once we go through the signature skill. But the way you want to read these artillery barrages is pretty simple. You're going to be targeting 1 target initially, and if you are in the triumphant return state, you generate the area of effect, which targets 3 people, with the primary target taking 2 instances of damage, while the other 2 guys only take 1 instance of damage. And after you've done that, you kind of get out of the return state, and then you increase your active skill damage, right? So that is all this skill does. And with this signature skill, it kind of comes together, because this is a signature skill. It's an active skill, 35% chance to go off, and deals strategy damage to the enemy troop and grants the hero 1 mark, stacking up to 2 marks. When fully stacked, the hero enters the triumphant return state and immediately deals strategy damage to the enemy, and you also increase your strategy damage by a nice little amount. When you're acting as the commander, which Napoleon will be, you immediately gain 1 mark after your rage reaches 90% for the first time upon entering battle. This triggers up to once every 60 seconds. So really powerful ability. So if you've not guessed it, this is all about triggering off our main signature skill. Each time we do, we generate marks. Once we get 2 marks, we enter the triumphant state, we deal an instant of damage to the target, we increase our damage dealt, and we turn our commander skill online. That means this is now doing that AoE effect. So you can kind of see these are working in conjunction together. They are very heavily synced to work together. And the thing that Napoleon needs, if you've not guessed it, is insanely good rage generation. Because when you read the commander skill one last time, and if you take this off, so it's just simple wordplay, there's no actual cooldown on this. There's no real internal cooldown on this. So there could be a scenario where you're able to get this 350 rage uptime pretty damn fast and actually keep firing off AoE, 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 and increasing your main signature active skill damage. And every time you're doing so, this is going off and increasing your overall damage for your Contagion Flame here. So I absolutely love this skill. This is an absolutely crazy skill. It's an active skill with a 35% active chance. And this is super important because when you look at his more skills, you can increase this with Strategy's Master's Gift, which is a passive based skill. And when you max this out, you increase the activation chance of your signature active skill, which is what we need it to do, by 15%. We've got a 50% active skill on Napoleon, guys, which is going to be steroiding himself. Absolutely bonkers. On top of that, we increase our own hero, aka Napoleon's damage, by 30% too, which is exactly what we want. He's doing all the damage. We need to steroid him, right? Then his skill, Eagle Artillery, increases your strategy damage by 10%, and has a 50% chance to ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. Everyone knows Vlad right now has a very similar ability, having chances to ignore defense, so does certain other heroes. And that ignore defense, the piercing on it, is absolutely disgusting. It does so much damage right now. It's crazy. So we get this on our Archer. On top of this, after activating a commander skill, which we're going to do quite often, your signature active skill activation chance increases by 10%. So this is where things get quite funky, because technically then we have a 60% chance of our signature active skill of firing off, which is a super quick, high consistent uptime, which does beg the question, and I know many people will be thinking this too, including myself, is Strategy Master's Gift overkill? And I don't think it is, because of the fact that we're getting a damage steroid and an activation chance steroid compared to going for just an extra instance of damage or adding recovery to our march, because our recovery is going to be coming from the other two heroes. So we can definitely go for these two and be comfortable with the output of our Napoleon, which is a super high active skill, dealing damage, generating marks, and firing off that Corsican flame. I think it's Corsican flame. Apologize to everyone who I'm butchering the name for. Now, to finish things off on Napoleon, let's talk about the stars, because this hero, every star is actually pretty good, because you're not just getting one thing. You will realize you're always getting two benefits out of it. So you increase the damage rate of Divine Judgment by 40%. So that's your main signature skill. But then when exiting that triumphant return state, you immediately increase the strategy damage rate to the enemy troop by 40%. That is disgusting, guys. The fact that you're now basically doing even more damage to them, yes please. Then you get a 3-star hero. You increase the damage rate of your main commander skill by 50%, and the strategy damage rate to the primary target after, which is an additional damage proc, by 50%. But what's really powerful about this is when exiting. When you exit that triumphant return state, you increase the damage of your next two signature active skills. And when you're acting as the commander, which Napoleon always does, you're immediately gaining 1 mark after rage reaches 90%, right? Which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic that we get all of this, obviously, in one go. This upgrades, though. When we get 5-star, the marks go to 2. So technically, if we are in the triumphant return state before that 90% threshold, so for argument's sake, let's just say our Napoleon deals an instance of damage on turn 1 And then after maybe turn 2, turn 3, maybe turn 4, 5, he deals another instance of damage, and we're only around 60 to 70% of our rage. Well, we will enter the triumphant return state, we'll do all those effects, and then what's really cool is it might exit, and if it doesn't, well, don't worry about it. At 90%, we're gaining 2 marks, so we're going to exit the triumphant return to re-enter the triumphant return again. So it's super high consistency, I believe, on the uptime of being in that state. On top of this, when you look, it does increase the damage rate of the next 2 signature active skills by 5% when exiting, right? Compared to just being these little bits. It's all convoluted. But yeah, absolutely nuts. I actually think this hero is going to be great. And the thing is, with this hero, I am going to be investing into him, and I do think he might be actually my very first hero, which I break the rule on, and a 5-star. I'm going to be honest, I think he's going to be one hero I'm going to really 5-star, because the thing is, he's really good, and I actually think Saladin is fantastic too. I actually think Saladin, even at 3 stars, is going to be perfectly fine for what I need him to do, especially when it's generating the rage that he generates from all of his skills that we've got on field. But Henry, the final man we need to talk about before we move on, Henry V is going to be interesting because this hero, honestly, isn't that interesting unless you 5-star the hero or if you 1-star the hero. 3-star isn't much of an improvement apart from the raw stats that you're going to be getting, because his main Peerless Genius skill is a 30% activation chance at base. So even with Strategy Master's Gift, this is going to make it a 45% active chance. This is where his stars come in, because his stars increase the activation chance by 5%. So 1 star on Henry makes it so your skill has a 50% active uptime like Napoleon, which is going to matter because when you read his skill, he's increasing the troops' rage by 2.09 per second for 3 seconds. This is honestly pretty good. Obviously, it's going to scale up to around, I think around 5 to like 7 or something. I don't know. It's going to scale up anyway nicely for your per second for 3 seconds, which is going to combo with your Saladin, right? Your Saladin and your Henry are going to be generating a ton of rage per second for your Napoleon. And obviously, when the Napoleon triggers his commander skill, it's going to make our main Saladin recover more rage, which again just generates rage. Henry, though, when we go into his stars again, the 3-star just doesn't impress me. It increases the strategy damage by 30%, and that is it. I don't care about that, I'll be honest with you. The 5-star is going to be where things get actually pretty impressive. People will overlook this, but this is an extra 3 rage per second. So when you look at my skill at level 1, 5 rage per second is quite a lot. That's 15 extra rage you just generated in that 3 seconds. At level 1, this still needs to scale. And then your commander, so whenever Napoleon does his damage through the commander skill, we reduce our damage taken by 8% for 9 seconds, and this scales with our strategy. So you can kind of see where I'm going, right? Henry is only good at 1 stars or 5 stars. But my issue is Henry on his own, especially with the more skills not being that interesting, let's be real, they're not that interesting. I feel like this is the one hero in the lineup that I'm going to 1-star and I'm going to leave. Because I do believe in the future that there's going to be a replacement. There's going to be another hero for the Marshal Archers that's going to generate some good rage, probably reduce the damage we take, and do something else on top, which is technically what we care about. That's the main stats that we're missing on this match, because Napoleon, as you guys have guessed it, and as you've seen from them skills, he's doing the damage. Like, I'm telling you, my guy is doing the damage. Don't worry about it. And he's got the rage from Saladin. It's just the issue is Henry is going to do some okay damage, but he's going to have that high uptime on that rage. And that's all because all we need him for, honestly, is this last line of piece of text for now. The damage we don't care about. The rate, again, is just, I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of a little bit upset about it. I wish they did a little bit more extra to him, especially if they made his 3 stars a little bit better. This would make me a lot more inclined to put him to 3 stars. But because it's not, I'm not going to do it, guys. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. So that's the formation anyway. And if you want, I will do a full breakdown on it. If you want an ultimate guide to the Marshal Archers right now, I will. But to finish off this section, there is one thing I think a lot of content creators will be missing out on their videos. And this is why you come to me and the primary source. Because we've got to talk about my leaks from the other day. Right? We did some leaks the other day to do with 7 new signet rings, which many people might have checked out. And some people might have not checked out. And on these signet rings, as you can see, is this image. So this is the second one up on the top row. It's 4,000, and it's a Spanish one called the Disastrous, or Tyrant Disastrous, I think. I can bring it back up. We technically used our Google Translate, which we're going to do again. So we're using our phone to do this a second time. Didn't expect to do this. But if we grab that, it says Disastrous Tyrant, right? Commander damage, range, regeneration speed, troop health. But the ability of this ring is what makes Napoleon probably shine even more. You increase the damage taken by your troops by 10%, and your commander skill damage by 25%, right? That's kind of nuts already. But each time your commander uses your signature skill, you increase the damage of your next commander skill by 5%, and it stacks up to 3 times. So you can see with this ring here, it's really important. You're going to be able, as you're activating your, signature skills, you're going to be charging up your commander skill to do more damage. And that's kind of where, again, Napoleon is all about. He's all about the damage in his commander skill. It's all that. Get that going and you're going to be cooking, which I actually think is going to be really interesting. I wonder how else you're going to be able to obtain him, because at the moment it's only from the Imperial Legend and it doesn't seem to be from anywhere else. Maybe it follows the same suit as Tamiris, where Tamiris had an event similar to this. Afterwards, she was introduced to the daily chests, and you just buy them through daily chests. That could be an option, but there's no word of that. So that is just me assuming and trying to predict the future for you guys. So that is it. Those are the formation breakdown for obviously the Napoleon and Henry. Just to finish off today's video, as I kind of said, is talking about the new update on the anniversary event and obviously the Citadel theme. If you choose to purchase this theme and you're going to for that theme, I do ask you guys to obviously check out my Eneba link in the description down below. Buying those Apex through my Eneba helps me, and it should save you money. And it should also purchase it through the minus buy get one free deals too, which is going to be really important. This is, by the way, the best value. If you are looking to spin for these skins, this is the best value. I know it's kind of shocking, but it really is. When you go and see the real bundles for $8.99, you're probably lucky to get 100, maybe 200 tops, if that. So you're going to see how good this is compared to the reality when it comes. How good are the skins, though? Well, and this is what's going to be interesting. I like the fact that, cool, we've got a mythic skin here at 5%, right? We've got a brand new, like, a mythical skin, 5%. So they've introduced a new one above legendary, right? So they've got the new first time ever 5% skin. This should mean it's more expensive than these ones, right? Which is perfectly fair. You've got the 2% version here, which is the white dragon. But the difference between the white and the black dragon, honestly, is the color and that one animation. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you in game, because some of the guys in 64, shout out to you guys like Phoenix, they've got the preview bundles. So you can see, if we zoom out a little bit, these dragons, right? The white ones is the 2%er, right? That's just like my skin here, which is the genie one. It's like a lot of other skins, right? So it's just kind of static. It kind of just does its thing. The black one is a little bit more. It's black and silver instead of white and gold, and it fires a bit of fire on the ground. That is literally what you're paying for. It's this animation. And all they did is turn it off on this animation and obviously not have it on, which I think is a bit of a bummer. It would have been nice just to have it. I'll be honest. I think it should have been fair enough to have it on both. And this is kind of where it comes to my issue, because the thing is, I love city skins. I know some people don't. I like the creativity. I like the fact that I'm never forced in reality to go for these skins, because I know a lot of other players aren't going to be able to go for them too. And if I go for a skin, like for example, if people went for this one, it's because I actually want it and I like the skin. Especially like the Throne of Flames. This skin is sick as fuck. I'm going to be honest, right? So people who went for these skins, I think, are going to be more happy. Because the thing is, these dragon skins, even though they look sick as fuck, no denying it. There's no denying they look sick as fuck. Last time I checked, I'm playing Age of Empires. I'm playing Age of Empires Mobile, right? I'm not playing Call of Dragons. And I'm not playing, like, Return to Empire. The forbidden name people say you can't say it, right? I'm not playing these other games. I don't understand where dragons come in Age of Empires. And you can't try and stretch and say Age of Mythology, because that's not this game, right? So, I don't know. I like skins. I just think these are the wrong skins. They could have easily made something, you know, different, instead of taking it from the other game, right? And it could have been not dragons for starters, right? And it would have been probably a lot better received than what we've got. But hey, that's me. I just think, again, just because of the game we're in, it makes sense not to have dragons. And this is kind of where the final thing does kind of draw the line. I don't know if you guys realize, but the land theme that you're getting is free, I believe. You're going to be able to exchange it during the event that's going to come around for doing quests. And again, it adds a dragon, which is cool and all. I'm not going to lie, it's cool, right? It is really cool. Obviously, we're not going to get any attributes for this one, but in the future, as you can imagine, there's going to be more land themes coming, which will have those, right? But the thing is, why? Like, why have we got this and not, like, you know, a land theme which changes the actual, like, theme inside to a more Age of Empires appropriate one? You know what I mean? Like, why could we not have war elephants parading all the way around? Or, like, chariots coming all the way around? Or you can get land themes with your favorite heroes like Julius Caesar, Mulan, Lubu, and they walk around you know, they actually walk around like these guys do, but they're properly done, right? Or maybe it changes the walls, so these walls aren't just looking like this. There's like cool looking fucking features and they're on fire, or I don't know, like actual good land themes instead of just throwing a dragon up here and selling it, right? Because again, I don't know. I love Age of Empires Mobile. You guys know, right? I love Age of Empires Mobile. But what I don't love is the fact that, like, we're dipping into fantasy when we're not fantasy based. We're Age of Empires. We're based on history. Keep it history based, you know? Like, it's as pretty simple as that. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. I think I've gone over, honestly, everything that we can go over on this event. Just remember, check into your hero audience, get those freebies. Obviously, the 40 coins we need for the land theme. That's going to help towards the quests. And then, obviously, your free Henry V. And, yeah, I think that's everything. That's all that we can cover. And it's kind of good timing, because I don't know why, but I've randomly got some hiccups during the video, so deal with it. So, yeah, when all of these other bits come out, I will obviously showcase it. I know we got this anniversary message. If it doesn't say from Peter, MrSneakyy, I want you to join the official creator program. I just think they've missed out on a golden opportunity. I know you guys all agree. So until then, I think that's going to be the end of the video. So smash a like, comment, and subscribe when the anniversary celebration fully starts on the 14th. you know a video will be out. So until then, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys. Peace out.